Am I just supposed to be okay with that? Hello, geeks, freaks, and all those unique. This is EmceeFrodis, and we're talking about Chapter 14 of The Mandalorian, The Tragedy. And oh boy, as soon as I saw that title on the screen, I was not, I did not like that. Um, there's a lot of stuff. Oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. So, unlike every other episode this season, where we had a big lore episode, then followed by kind of the side quest, we go straight from Ahsoka Tano right to Tychon, I believe it's called, this planet with a Jedi seeing stone thing, where Grogu can find his path. And we're right on it. We're just right there. And this is kind of refreshing that we just go right from point A to B without a bunch of stuff in between. And oh boy, oh I mean, let's just get right into it. Boba Fett like has been tracking the Mandalorian, and as soon as Grogu is on the Seeing Stone, Slave One kind of flies in, and we find out that Boba Fett is on this ship, and not only is Boba Fett on that ship, but Fennec Shand, who we all kind of hoped was still alive, but we weren't sure. And just boom, there she is. And I'm so glad that she's around because I loved Ming-Na Wen, but I did not think that episode was the strongest, and I think she deserved better. So having her come back, along with Boba Fett, is great. Um, but Boba Fett wants his armor, and Mando is too honorable to just freaking give it to him. So we're gonna get into a fight over it. But also Moff Gideon is, coming in. So we kind of have this three-way fray going on. What we saw in the last episode that Moff Gideon had are the Dark Troopers. They're not super soldiers. They are like droids. And yeah, wow. So Boba Fett and Din and Fennec Shand end up working together against the Dark Troopers and the Stormtroopers too, because a bunch of Stormtroopers come in. One of the best fight scenes in all of Star Wars history. And by the way, I am speaking as somebody who is not incredibly into Boba Fett. I can understand people thinking he looks cool, but I've always felt that he was very overhyped. But based off of this episode, seeing Tamora Morrison fighting against the Stormtroopers, completely armorless, just with a stick, you can understand where Boba Fett got this supposed reputation from. I almost think he's cooler without the armor on, because it does seem like there's something wrong with his jetpack. Maybe he needs a different jetpack. But he went out like such a punk in Return of the Jedi that you didn't really see a whole lot of him fighting in Empire Strikes Back. So this is kind of the first time we really get to see him let loose, and it is just freaking badass. And Fennec Shand is able to hold her own also. I was pretty turned on by her pushing down the boulder that takes out like 5 stormtroopers in one go. Ming-Na Wen, huge crush of mine for a long time. So, love seeing her being badass. But things are not going to go too well because Din took off his jetpack when he was negotiating with Boba Fett. And so he's not able to get back to Grogu when the Dark Troopers come in. And it was about this time in the episode when my heart was sinking into my feet because you could see it coming. And just every part of you just wants it to not happen. I loved everything. Just, I missed back at the beginning of this episode seeing Din and Grogu playing catch with one another. Because Din wants to test his force powers, but also I think he just likes bonding with him. And we get to hear Din laugh. We've never heard Din laugh before. And he's amused by Grogu's reaction to hearing his name. And, like, these two are father and son. Like, this, we know, this is not just fan headcanon. Like, this is the way. This is the show. And I think they are starting to realize it, or at least Din is starting to realize it. I think that Grogu has known this for a while. And really, when Din is talking about how Grogu has to go to the Jedi and be with his own kind, I really feel like he's trying to talk himself into it. He doesn't seem to really feel it all that much. And his absolute determination to protect Grogu, to fight against the Force itself, because there is a literal force field created around Grogu when he is signaling out to the universe or whatever. And Din keeps on trying to fight against it. But eventually he realizes that, no, I need to go off and try to, at least ward off these troopers. And then the Dark Troopers come in, and he just has to watch helplessly as his son is taken from him. And oh my God, it just broke my heart. But then, we had so many shocks in this episode, because first, we had the shock of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand coming in, and then we had the shock of the Dark Troopers coming in and taking Grogu. But then we have the shock of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand just flat out allying with Din. It's not a matter of, there's a fight going on. They could leave. Oh my God, sorry. So much stuff happened in this episode that I can't even keep track of it all. But the Razor Crest is destroyed. The Razor, I kind of figured that something would happen to the Razor Crest that would make it inoperable, but I didn't think it would just be blasted into pieces. That feels just, oh my God, just when that happened, I just could not. And Boba Fett and Fennec Shand had no obligation to help out Din. They could have left him on the planet, or they could have just taken him on Slave One and then had him, it's like, oh, we'll leave you on the next nearest planet where you can, get another ride. But no. It's very interesting, I think, to see this other side of Boba Fett. Because for years and years and years, he's just been the antagonist. And certainly that's always been the way that I've pictured him and the way I've always portrayed him when I've written him. But in this, well, first of all, he gets established as a true Mandalorian, and that's the whole reason why Din didn't want to give him the armor, is because he thought that Boba Fett was a pretender and not a Mandalorian, which many of us did think that Boba Fett was not a true Mandalorian. But, and certainly the Clone Wars did allude to that fact. But we find out here that actually Jango Fett was a foundling, much like Din was. And so he is a Mandalorian by creed. And so that means that Boba Fett is a Mandalorian, so the armor is his. And I think because of that, Boba Fett does have a code of honor. And when we've seen him in the past, he's always been opposed to the good guys. But from a certain point of view, our good guys are good guys. Like, Boba Fett was going after Han Solo, who was a smuggler who stole money from a gangster. So, yes, a bounty hunter is going to come after him. And while Boba Fett is certainly not a good guy, I'm not going to say that Boba Fett is a good guy, but I do think that he does have a certain honor code to him. And I think that pairing him with Din, we might be able to see a bit more of that. I mean, I have never been more interested in seeing Boba Fett than I am right now. Um, so when Grogu is taken, Din gets Boba Fett, Fennec Shan, and he's gonna put together his own posse to go after the kid. And, you know, he goes to get Cara Dune, which, okay, whatever. And he goes to get, he wants to free Bill Burr's character, which is another, okay, whatever. If you're going to be putting together a team, I actually really hope that the Mandalorian gets Cobb Vanth. Because I really loved Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth. And I think it would be really interesting to have Cobb Vanth and Boba Fett together, considering Boba Fett knew Cobb Vanth had the armor and was really pissed at him for it. So it'd be kind of fun to have them interacting with each other. And I think that Timothy Olyphant was such a great character that I'd love to see him back. I don't think we're going to get Ahsoka Tano. I would love to have Ahsoka Tano, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. Unless it turns out that Moff Gideon is also working with Grand Admiral Thrawn. Then maybe I could see Ahsoka coming into it, but I don't think we're going to get more from Ahsoka this season. Maybe like some sort of cliffhanger, but... And at the very end of this, we get Grogu in his cell, and Moff Gideon is just watching him as Grogu is like force pushing around all these stormtroopers, and he's choking them and he's throwing them and bashing them against each other, which is so awesome. I love seeing Grogu do that. I think he's a little badass, and I know a lot of people are saying it's like, oh, well, joking people is the dark side of the Force. Luke Skywalker did it in Return of the Jedi, and certainly I think that if you're in self-defense, like, there's no problem with choking somebody, and it's not like he killed them. But poor Grogu can't really use his powers for too long before he gets tired out. And that's why Gideon was doing it. It's like he enjoys watching it happen. But also it's like he wanted Grogu to tire himself out so that Grogu wouldn't attack him. So he passes out, and they cuff him, and we're left with this, the last scene being Grogu passed out with these little cuffs on. And just how dare you, Favreau? Just not freaking right. Oh, I just, oh. This was a very emotional episode. You know, I watched it when it came on at 3 in the morning. And after it was over, I'm like, how am I supposed to go to sleep now? I'm just going to keep on thinking about Baby Yoda. Just, you know. And I know I'm referring to him more as Grogu now, but, you know, still in my head he's Baby Yoda. Just, yes, the Empire has him, and they're not going to do good things to him, so. Oh. But we have, I think, 2 more episodes to go this season, and it does seem like basically things are going to go nonstop from here on out. And I'm really here for that. And this episode was fantastic. I wasn't know what I was expecting for Boba Fett coming back. It certainly was not this. And I love that he does seem like he's going to be in for the rest of the season. Every moment was suspenseful and surprising, and this is probably my favorite episode of the season. while last episode did give me a lot of stuff that I wanted to see, the story itself didn't really hold up in terms of just the quality. Um, but this one, you gave me all of the fan service while also giving me a really good story. And that's just really like when that can happen. That often does not intersect. And I always appreciate it when it does. And really look forward to what's going to be happening in the next 2 weeks. We better get that baby back. Oh, Din needs to be reunited with his son. This is the way. So, comment down below with what you thought of Chapter 14, The Tragedy. Um, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I do lots of other Star Wars and Star Trek and Supernatural and other geeky videos. If you would like to support me further, you can go to my Patreon, where you can get early access to videos, exclusive content, and access to polls. You can also buy me a coffee or buy some of my t-shirt designs over on TeePublic and Redbubble. Today I am wearing The Problem with Porgs, which is my Star Trek and Star Wars crossover. So, until next time, live long and may the Force be with you. I have spoken.